and blessings of God be upon you. My name is Muhammad, a new clip and a new story. But before starting, don't forget to pray for the Prophet Muhammad. May God bless him and grant him peace. Like the video and subscribe to the channel so that we can begin. The events of this story take place in the year 1888 AD, specifically from the 7th of August until the 10th of September, when 5 girls were killed in the Whitechapel area. The killer not only committed murder, but also mutilated the bodies of his victims. It got to the point that it was clear that the killer had a lot of information about anatomy, despite the police's attempts to arrest the serial killer. They were unable to reach him. Throughout the 3 months of 1888 AD, a state of terror and fear dominated the streets of the East End area in the city of London. Later, the nickname Jack the Ripper was given to this killer who kills his victims and then mutilates their bodies in a way that left the police in a state of astonishment because of what they saw. Some say that the number of victims of this killer is not only 5, but in fact that 11 victims were killed by this serial killer. For the victims of Jack the Ripper, the situation was very bad immediately after their bodies were discovered. On Friday, August 31st, the police found the body of Mary Ann Nichols. Mary was 42 years old at the time. The police found her in Box Row, Northern Street. The body was bruised and its throat was completely cut. Not only that, but the police discovered that the victim's abdomen had been slit more than once. As for the second victim, it was Annie Chapman. In fact, this victim was working in prostitution and was 47 years old at the time of death. Annie was found dead in the back lane of 29 Henry Street. The head was almost severed and the abdomen was completely torn apart. The killer removed part of the victim's bladder and vagina. On September 28, the media received a mysterious message. This message was from Jack the Ripper, in which he threatened more murders and torture. Meanwhile, chaos spread as a rumor appeared that the killer was carrying a black bag containing his equipment that he used in torture and murder. Subscribe to the channel and like the video so we can continue. Annie Young, carrying a black bag in his hand, was subject to assault. September 30th came when Jack the Ripper killed 2 women within a few minutes. The first was Elizabeth, who died at 1 o'clock in the morning. Elizabeth died on Berner Street. When the police found her body, blood was still flowing from her neck, but she was dead. A few minutes later, the police discovered the second body, which was called Catherine Edwards, 43 years old. As for Catherine's body, it was torn apart and Jack the Ripper slit the victim's throat. Jack was not satisfied with that. He removed the uterus and left kidney. Jack placed the entrails over his right shoulder. Meanwhile, madness began to make over all of London, and rumors began to spread. There is a rumor that says that Jack the Ripper was originally a crazy doctor. Others believe that he is a Polish lunatic. Others believe that he is a Russian Tsar, and other rumors. Meanwhile, Jack the Ripper sent a sarcastic letter to the police in which he apologized to them because he was not able to send the warrants to the police as he promised them. As for the fifth of victim, this happened on the 9th of November. The victim is Mary Janet, who was the youngest of the girls killed by Jack the Ripper. Mary was 25 years old at the time of the Her body was found on Dorset Street, now Duval Street. Mary died in her room, where what remained of her was found lying on the bed. From the severity of the horror of the sight, the person who found her for the first time said, "I will be haunted by this for the rest of my life." Mary's throat was cut, along with her nose and breasts. The corpse's entrails were covered with a picture frame, and the body was covered with skin. Hurt not found. As a result of this crime, a state of great public anger prevailed, resulting in the resignation of Sir Charles Warren, the chief of police at the time. Mary was the last victim of Jack the Ripper, and no crime occurred after her, so the killing cycle stopped at the same time as it had begun. To this day, the mystery of Jack the Ripper, the unknown murderer of England, remains one of the most puzzling mysteries in history that have never been discovered. Today's story is over. I hope it terrified you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share your opinions in the comments. Pray for the Prophet Muhammad. May God bless him and grant him peace, and may God's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you.